career sites convince and convert your company's ideal passive and active job seekers. What this means is that what you put on your career page and in which order has everything to do with whether the career site visitor stays or leaves. Now, most companies that care about their website design tend to care too much about the design at the cost of delivering the intended messages through copy text and visuals. Your career site must work for you. Having a pretty website with that powerful messages that convince and convert your career site visitors into your employer brand audience doesn't help you to build your employer brand or convert your employer brand audience into your recruitment funnel. In this episode of the Building a Modern Employer Brand podcast, I talk about the anatomy of the best career sites that convince and convert not just your ideal active job seekers, but also your ideal passive job seekers. So let's start by dissecting a great career site. So number one, you have your main career page. This is equivalent to the homepage of your entire company website. This is the general landing page for those website visitors who land on your company website and look for your career content. At this point, you can't tell if they're looking for a job right now or if they're simply checking you out for the first time. What am I talking about? I'm talking about catering to active and passive job seekers and not assuming they are looking for the same information on your website. The main careers page on your overall career site is the careers home, your entrance, your hallway, where you direct your visitors to what they came looking for, kind of like a reception at your office. Sometimes your career site visitors, they randomly enter your career site and they're not looking for anything specific. And the thing is that you can either lose them immediately or possibly lead or convince them to stay and look around for more. Now, imagine yourself as a real estate agent and you have an open house for a property that you want to sell. Anyone who walks in that front door, as in enters your career's home, is a potential buyer. At that point, when they enter the front door, the world is both of yours oyster. Anything is possible. This could be the house that they want to buy. This could be the client that you're going to sell this house to. This actually happened to my husband and I when, we found our previous house. This was, 13, 14, even longer ago. My husband had seen this beautiful house during the construction phase, and then one Sunday noticed that the house had come on the market, and we went on this very innocent Sunday drive and popped in to see the house during the open house. And the minute I entered the house, my heart was filled with happiness, and within seconds, my brain was decorating that house with our furniture, and I saw myself raising our family there and just living a happy life. I was sold and convinced my husband that we need to get this house and move, and we were not even looking for a house to buy and move. So we had no previous intentions of moving anywhere. Yet about, I think it was 4 weeks later, it wasn't my brain decorating that house anymore. It was us decorating it. We'd sold our house, we bought that dream house, and we had moved in. Never underestimate what a powerful entrance can do for an innocent visitor who is just curious without no alternative motives. Imagine if your career site convinced and converted your ideal passive job seeker just like that. So the main careers page, that needs to speak to your relevant talent audiences. That must give that whoa, I want to look for more. I want to see what this is about. They must get an instant vibe about whether your company is an ideal workplace for them or not. And you need to understand that all of this happens almost unknowingly, unconsciously, during the very first seconds as your main career page visitor is browsing through your page. During these very critical first seconds, they must sense through your images, your communication style, and the words you use, whether they feel you actually align in terms of culture and values, but also whether your professional interests and choices match. They must very quickly understand that what is your special and unique offer for them, which with my magnetic employer branding method, or if you are my part of my Finnish audience, the vaikuttava työnantaja-brändimethod, it refers to your better life promise. So they must very quickly understand just by browsing for the first, during the first 1-2 seconds, they must understand what your better life promise for them is. And finally, they must get a very clear call to action from you to help them understand what they need to do next. What are the next steps that you propose for them? This is the conversion part on your career site. You need to understand that not all of your career site visitors are ready to convert to job applicants. So the best career sites definitely cater for both active and passive job seekers. So you need 2 kinds of call to actions. And for this, you use landing pages that are designed for specific purposes and specific audiences. Now, I have a blog post about using something called a website grunt test to evaluate how effective the first impression is on your career site. It's very simple. All you need is ask your husband, ask your wife, ask your spouse, ask your significant other, ask a friend, anybody who is not working in the same company that you are, so that they don't have that kind of an inside knowledge of it, an inside interest and motivation to understand what the page says. It's very simple. I'll link the page on the show notes of this episode, so you can find a link to this website grunt test if you visit modernemployerbrand.com/podcast120 to find it. Okay, then what the best career sites have is a separate open jobs page. Now, obviously, it goes without saying that open jobs page is a very important page on your overall career site. And the best career sites definitely treat the open jobs page as a sales page. But only active job seekers are interested in this page in ways that actually lead to the conversions that you are looking for. So, as an example, when you browse through an online shop for something that you don't have any intention to buy, or maybe even not even a possibility to buy, but you can still look around, but you are not the most ideal audience entering that shop. So the shop needs to focus on converting the ready-to-buy visitors into customers, even though, anybody could visit that shop. So what this means is that the best career sites optimize the recruitment area for those who are ready to act. Instead of just listing your vacancies, this page needs to cater to a job seeker's needs. So they need to be able to search for relevant jobs, especially if your open listing is, tens or even hundreds of vacancies in, different cities, different countries. Also, your page needs to cater to the possibility to get their questions answered. Now, job seekers who wonder about, whether they're going to apply or not, they have a lot of questions in their minds, unless they already are familiar with you, unless they are already part of the employer brand audience and have had those questions answered a long time ago. But your sort of would I refer to job seekers that just go to your open jobs page through job advertising or something like that. They have a lot of questions that they want to get answers to. They want to know before they even decide whether they apply or not. And this can be organized with offering information on this recruitment area on this open jobs page that are tailored specifically for people who are ready to apply. You could organize it in the form of FAQ pages, that's frequently asked questions pages, cheat sheets, chat boxes, instructions, Or a new feature a couple of my Finnish entrepreneur friends recently innovated that is called a video bot. Now, this is something really cool, and I recommend you to check that out. This is not an advertisement. They're not going to pay anything for me to promote. I just think that it's really awesome. It's videobot.com, and it wasn't created with career sites in mind, but when Matthias, the other co-founder, told me about their innovation, it just became instantly clear to me how this could be an awesome function on a really great career site. So you could check that out. Strongly recommend videobot.com. Also, your careers page, not the careers page, but the open jobs page needs to have very clear names, faces, contact details, LinkedIn profile links for your recruitment contact people, because your recruitment team are your salespeople. So imagine if you wanted to buy something expensive, which a career move is. It's a very expensive decision for anyone in their life. And there was no way for you to talk to or email or contact a salesperson. I mean, would you continue with that company? Probably not, unless they had a really appealing brand and the trust was already built and it was already there. But you have to offer people the ability to contact your career's salespeople. Then you also need specific landing pages for your key employer brand target segments. Now remember that your careers page home, that's like the reception area, the entrance hall, that's where you welcome all of your career site visitors, whether they are active job seekers or passive job seekers. And from that landing page, you need to direct the active job seekers to the open jobs page, and then obviously the passive job seekers to specific other landing pages. But you don't have to do landing pages for every single kind of or type of a profession or a profile that you employ, only for your key employer branding target segments. Those should be talents who are currently passive job seekers or not pressed enough to start applying for jobs, because that's the value of the magnetic employer brand, that you can actually influence people who are not yet looking for a job, so that by the time that they actually start looking for a job, you are top of their mind. So obviously their desires, what they're interested in, the questions that they have on their mind, they're very different from those who are looking to apply for a job. There's nothing really pushing these passive job seekers, and they're kind of like window shopping for future reference and needs. So your specific landing pages for those key employer brand target segments need to cater for this window shopping need for future references and needs. And if you don't know what are your key employer branding target segments, I strongly recommend you to listen to my episodes 83 and 84. Very easy if you're now on any of the podcast platforms. After this episode, just scroll to the previous episodes and go to 83 and 84 to learn more about who exactly are your employer brand target audiences, and also what are the most common mistakes people do when they are choosing their employer brand target audiences. I have also blogged about these topics, and you can find both blog posts when you follow modernemployerbrand.com/podcast 83 or /podcast 84. Now, these target segment landing pages you use in your on your careers site, they are for employer brand marketing, but you can also use them in your recruitment campaigns when you hire for those specific target audiences. So all the content and all the messages in these pages are tailored and designed to convince and convert ideal and relevant talents from those segments, so that they start paying attention to you, so that they start following you, so that they become curious about learning more about you, so that they want to connect with you. And eventually, when the time is right for them, they convert into your recruitment funnel or directly as a candidate in one of your open recruitment processes. And then what the best career sites have is a blog to host an array of content that are tailored to grow awareness, build employer brand affinity, and convert into your recruitment funnel. Most companies have one blog on their website, so careers content can be located using a career-specific hashtag. So that's very important so that your audience is able to find your careers content easily. Now, what makes a great career site? So I want to summarize. So first and foremost, the best career sites service those visitors that you want to convince and convert. And I keep repeating this. When building and developing a career site, you need to plan not just the content, but also the structure, how you present the content, and also the order in which you present the information so that it caters to your target audience needs. Most people, search and browse internet on their mobile devices. So when you are sort of planning and building your career site, you're most likely doing it on a desktop. So obviously your screen is much larger than what your audience is looking at when they're browsing the internet and going to your career site. So it's very important that you understand that the order of presenting information is quite critical these days, because if the important information, such as the call to actions, whether you're an active job seeker or a passive job seeker, if those don't come up very quickly at sort of the top of the careers homepage, and people need to just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll until forever, it's probable that they're just going to exit your career site. Because when you look at it in the mobile, and maybe you should open your company careers page on your mobile phone and see how it looks like, how long it takes to get important information. So it's really important that it's not just about the content, but also the structure and the order of presenting that content so that it caters both to passive job seekers and active job seekers. And then another thing that is very important when you develop a great career site is to remember that you're not developing your career site for you. You don't need it. You need it for your audience. So make your audience your priority. Be aware that what looks pretty doesn't necessarily have an ounce of wisdom. So never compromise the message for the sake of the design. You want to avoid your career site being a pretty window without nothing value add for anything who chooses to visit and spend more than 5 seconds on your career site, because they won't. And your choices of images must communicate the very same key messages that the copy text does. That's why your career site development is never the job alone for a website designer. It has to have that value add to anyone who chooses to visit and spend that more than 5 seconds on it. And it's unlikely that your website designer knows what that value add is. Obviously, you also need a great talent communication expert to make sure that the site will work for your benefit. So, who knows how to write great copy text on a website? Who knows how to choose the images to support the copy text and not be like extra information that has no, cues as to what your key messages are. Your site also needs to work for you as a recruiter or as an employer brand marketer to help deliver your employer brand marketing and talent acquisition goals. So what this means is that you need to know what your goals are before you get to it, because you need to plan the content and the messages accordingly. And your career pages need to act as kind of like a hook, keeping your audience excited to stay and browse around. So needless to say, what you communicate and how you communicate must be immediately clear, specific, and easy to understand for the person who's on your website. And in that order, clear, specific, and easy to understand, and in the order of importance from top down, because people are not going to stay on a page that takes forever to get to the point that they were looking for. So if it isn't immediately clear, who's this company for, how could I improve my life if I started a career here, and what do I need to do next? If that isn't instantly clear within the first couple of seconds, you're going to lose your career site visitor. Now, I hear you. I know this probably sounds quite overwhelming, but I have to tell you that when you do have an employer brand strategy in place, you have your goals, you have your key messages decided, you know what your desired employer brand images are. That's when you know exactly also who your target segments are, what drives them, what problems and desires and needs they have. And you've also made decisions, how you want to message to your audiences. So when you already have all that in your employer branding strategy, you know already what your career site needs to communicate, who does it need to communicate to, and what your goals are. So the overwhelm no longer exists. So I guarantee that this will be much easier to comprehend when you have that employer branding strategy there and you use your career site as an implementation and execution platform for your strategy. So all you need to really do then is to write your copy texts, choose your visuals, and have the web development team put those in place. This leaves us with the final question: how do you know if your career site is working? Now, your career site is your marketing tool, and your website analytics are your keys to understanding how well your site works or doesn't work. So metrics that become your career site KPIs, as in key website metrics that you need to monitor regularly to evaluate for the growth or for the improvement, are number of new career site visitors, number of returning career site visitors. Never ignore the value of returning career site visitors. Average time spent on your career site. Time spent on unique pages on your career site, and which are those top unique pages that people spend time on? And then bounce rates, how quickly people leave without clicking to another page on your career site. You also need to pay attention regularly to your top traffic sources. Where do people come from when they enter your career site? Did they come from LinkedIn? Did they come from Advert? Did they come from Google search? Did they come from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter? Where did they come from? Very important, because if most of your people are coming from LinkedIn, then obviously you need to expand your marketing on LinkedIn. What search words people who visit your career site used? That's also very important and interesting to, pay attention to, because it could give you some revelations for your employer brand marketing and recruitment marketing. Then you also need to pay attention to regularly to the top 3 pages where people spend the most time on your career site. That kind of tells you, what they came for and found and it's valuable, or just what is really valuable for them. So what does your audience appreciate in your career site? And could you do more of stuff like that? And also the top 3 pages they visit last before they exit your career site. What are those pages, and are there anything that you could change so that they would stay longer? And then top 3 career articles or blog posts, because those seem to be, those kind of like evergreens. If they keep being repeatedly are the same articles, then they're evergreens, then you should use them more in your marketing. And you do this tracking to learn what matters to your career site visitors, whether your content and messages work for them, what are the pages that they spend most time on and least time on, so that you can play and plan how you can improve your pages. Okie dokie, that's all for this week, my friends. And before I leave you to it, I have some Talent Marketing School news for you. So I want you to know that based on feedback, I will be changing Talent Marketing School, kind of like the system in 2023. I will give up on the annual license plan, and I'm going to make changes to Talent Marketing School to focus on 2 programs. The other one is most likely going to be a program on becoming certified modern employer brand management for those who want to develop a career solely on employer brand marketing and managing strategic employer branding. And the other one that I'm still kind of contemplating is a program for recruitment consultants, freelance recruiters, freelancing career coaches who want to learn how to use communication and marketing to sell more, to build their personal brand, to influence talent audiences, and get more clients and, become more successful in their work. The structure will change, even though there will be still this self-learning part online. It just will be more programmatic with the practical, how to help and personal coaching. So that's the plan. And I won't be really releasing both of the programs at the same time because I don't have that kind of resources available. So, I'd like to hear what you think. And are you interested in either of these programs? Sort of at the, so kind of initially interested, and which one sounds like the kind of program that you need. And you can tell me this by sending me an email at susanna@emine.fi, emine.fi, or on LinkedIn or on Instagram. And hey, subscribe to my weekly podcast email at modernemployerbrand.com, and I'll keep you automatically posted on the Talent Marketing School development as well. My name is Susanna Rantanen, and I teach you all you need to know about mastering modern employer branding and building your own brand as a recruiter and an employer branding expert to help you to build the career you dream of.